and we want to thank you for being here today. We're going to begin with the national anthem, and the kids are going to lead it, but they would like to ask for you to sing along with them. The flag is, well, there's flags everywhere, I guess, but there's flags here. We're now going to be led in prayer by Dennis, who is a veteran of the Navy.
Heavenly Father, we're here to celebrate and memorialize those who have fallen before you. Get-togethers of war. We also want to memorialize those that have survived the war and yet have passed on since then. And we also memorialize the ones that are serving today. And ask your blessing, Lord, on them. Let's memorialize this and remember all the things of the past tense and hand our future to you, Lord, and all the things that are to come. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Gentlemen, do you want to come on up? Come on up. Anybody else want to come on up? All right. Yeah, you can go ahead and be seated, gentlemen. Holly now, she wanted to play a tribute to each of the service branches, and the children are holding up the branches of each service, plus an MIA POW flag as well. now have a song. We're going to sing America the Beautiful. So if the singers would come forward, and you could come up and you want to sing. Carson. Carson is now going to share a poem that was written during the World War I era that's become symbolic of fallen veterans. It's In Flanders Field.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Pick up our quarrel with the foe. To you from the failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Thank you, Carson. Well, once again, we want to welcome you all here today. And to begin here, I would like to just share the names of those from our immediate community who made the ultimate sacrifice. And I've tried to include everyone in, the community here, but please forgive any unintended omissions as we honor the memory of the fallen today. Robert Parker, Civil War. William McKeever, Civil War. George W. Poole, Civil War. John M. Schoonover, World War I. Franklin Clark Hoskinson, World War I. Paul Jones, killed in action in Belgium, World War II. Ralph Wright, killed in action in Germany, World War II. Floyd Monroe Romick, that would have been my dad's brother. He was lost over New Guinea while on a rescue mission in World War II, and neither he nor his crew were ever recovered. James Glenn Stewart, World War II. Albert Marty, he was the first serviceman from Monroe County to die in the Korean conflict less than a month after the war started. George Schoonover, he died in a prisoner of war camp in Korea. Dwayne Ball, who died in Vietnam. Does anyone else have the name of a family member or friend or neighbor who died in service that you would like us to share at this moment? Okay, Steve Janita and Jim Ravencraft, Vietnam. They were from Clarington and Antioch. Is there any other? Okay. There was a Potts from Duffy, too, but we're not sure of the first name. Oh, World War II, okay. Grain, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's have a moment of silence, and then Holly's going to play taps. Thank you. Thank you, Holly. Okay, this year we celebrate the 250 years of the United States of America. And that's not really a large amount of time when you compare it to other nations, but it is a relatively short time. And in that time, America has played a significant role in the history of mankind. More than any other nation, America was born of a dream. Not a dream that was held by one man or one royal family, but a dream of people from many nations. It was a dream of freedom and liberty. Tension had been rising for years between the American colonists and the British Empire. And on an April morning in 1775, men rose from their beds, grabbed their muskets, and gathered at the village green in Lexington, Massachusetts, to stand against the most powerful army in the world, the British Redcoats. The citizens were not trained soldiers. They were farmers, shopkeepers, blacksmiths, and laborers, men who had no military experience facing down the professional army of Great Britain. They knew the dream would not happen without sacrifice, and on that April morning, sacrifices were made. So the American Revolution began. A year later, on the 4th of July, 1776, our forefathers gathered in Philadelphia and signed the document that created the United States of America. They were under the threat of death if they were caught by the British, yet they boldly signed their names on the Declaration of Independence. Our forefathers declared that all people have inherent rights. Those rights do not come from a government, but they are given to us by our Creator. And since the Creator gives them to us, those rights cannot be taken away by a government. It was a radical idea in 1776, and even today, some would disagree with that. But this battle wasn't just for the men of Massachusetts. The cry for freedom rallied in all 13 colonies and beyond. I've been compiling a book about the veterans who settled Monroe County who had fought in the Revolution. And as I read it, I gained a deeper understanding not just of the history of our county and its settlement, but also gained a greater appreciation for the sacrifice and dedication of veterans throughout the generation. The revolution was fought by the sons of immigrants and the sons of people who had lived in this land for a couple of generations. They were from Germany, France, England, Ireland, and other nations, but yet one thing bonded them all together. They no longer thought of themselves as being citizens of those other nations. They thought of themselves as Americans, and as Americans, they longed for the right to govern themselves and not be dictated to by a foreign power. As I read the pension applications of these Monroe County Revolutionary War veterans who founded our county, I saw their suffering, their triumphs, and their courage. They lost limbs, eyesight, and health. They had marched through icy rivers, through knee-high mud, and marched with rags wrapped around their bloody feet. Survived hand-to-hand combat, the bitter winter of Valley Forge, Indian ambushes, near starvation, and isolation from their families. Some captains of the militia companies used their own money to pay their troops, but many of the militia served without pay. Why did they do this? Because to them, the Declaration of Independence was not just words on paper. It was an ideal worth fighting for and dying for. Even after the war was over, these veterans continued to serve. They protected the new Ohio frontier, always vigilant, always prepared, always working to build a better life for their families. It reminded me of the veterans of our community and the veterans that we have gathered here today. After their military days ended, they continued to serve, some in law enforcement, some in government jobs, some by, as you can see, veteran organizations. They continued to build America. But then there are those who never got that chance. Yesterday, I heard a speech by a 98-year-old veteran. He implored the audience to tell others about the veterans, to share their stories. He said, "We gave up our yesterdays for your tomorrow." All veterans sacrifice. These men here that stand here in the crowd and also here in the gazebo, they sacrifice. They gave up their youth, sometimes their health, their family time, careers in private sector, whatever that might be. We should never forget for a moment that freedom comes at a high cost. And for some, like the names that we read earlier, the cost is life itself. So today, we ask you to remember the cost that has been paid for your freedom. Give thanks to God for those freedoms and those rights that he has given to each human being. And thank him also that we live in that we have the blessing of living in this nation that recognizes and protects those freedoms. And thank God also for the people of valor, the people of dedication who will continue to always stand for America. Thank you. And now we're going to ask Anthony Gower to say a few words. He's the commander of the Legion, the Hannibal Legion, and he's also an officer in the VFW at Duffy.
Thanks, Karen. I'd like to first thank Karen and everybody who put this thing together for us, for everything you guys do. Really great, appreciate it. And to the veterans here, I salute you guys. Anybody out there as well. Bernie called me and said, "Hey, can you mind giving me a speech?" And I said, "Well, I got like an hour to figure this out." But this is the one that Memorial Day is one of those things that's a little personal to me. Memorial Day is more than just a date on the calendar. It is a date carried in the hearts and families who have known the silence left behind by sacrifice. Today, we pause to remember the sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, friends, and neighbors who gave lives for something greater than themselves. They were ordinary people who displayed extraordinary courage. They left behind dreams, families, and futures so that we could continue to live in freedom. Some never had the chance to grow old, raise children, or come home to people who loved them most. Today, we honor not only their sacrifice, but their memory. We remember their laughs, their strength, and the lives they touched. And while words can never fully repay the debt we owe, we can promise this: they will never be forgotten. May we live with gratitude, cherish the freedoms that they protected, and carry their legacy forward with pride and honor. God bless our fallen heroes and the families who carry the memory every day.
Thank you, Anthony. We're going to close with Jackie's going to sing God Bless the USA. But before we do, I really want to thank you all for coming and standing in the rain. The weather guy said it was not going to rain between, I think, 11 and 7 today. So apparently, yeah. But let's just give a round of applause to these veterans, because we appreciate so much. We don't understand what they've done for us, but we appreciate every bit of it.